Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Silver Sunday on this, what is the date? I always have to look at the date. On this July 18th. And so, yeah, we are going to talk comic books with you today. We are glad that you are able to join us. We've got our fun Sunday crew here, so we're going to have some fun. Don't be shy. Speak up. Ask questions. Ask us hard questions. We like the hard ones in particular. You can ask us easy questions too. But you can ask us some hard ones as well. Before we get into it, some housekeeping. Want to say a shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con, September 18th and 19th. Please make your plans to be at Daytona Beach. That is, I realize looking at my calendar, that's only 2 months from now. So if you have not already made your plans, you need to get busy. If you like comic books, this is the place to go. Tom has told me, the organizer has told me that they have expanded, so there's more floor space. They're going to be in a different location. Lots of reasons. COVID is ultimately kind of the reason to blame, but they're going to be in a different location, and he's going to have a lot more floor space. So if I know Tom, I know that they added more comic books. So you've heard me say before, Daytona Beach Comic Con has more comic books. Literally, not just percentage-wise, but literally had more comic books at that show, which is about 1/4 the size, maybe, of the big show down in MegaCon down in Orlando. And so if you like comic books, that's the place to be. Daytona Beach Comic Con is our sponsor. Thank you so much, Daytona Beach Comic Con. Let's see here. Don't forget, we've got a merch store. We've got Indie Planet. If you've missed our back, actually, no Indie Planet right now. We're running a Kickstarter. If you need back issues, go back our Kickstarter and add them to the Kickstarter. So, sorry, take that back.
Smart.
Take that back. What'd you say?
Smart.
Yeah. Back issues are available on the Kickstarter. And I counted yesterday, y'all. You ready for this number? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
We have 17 back issues.
No boy.
Wow.
How cool is that? I didn't realize we had that many, but I'm like, wait, we have 17? It's very
17
cool.
books.
Yep.
Great.
That's we've got 17 since we kind of all started. And that's not counting our classic graphic novels that we still have available as well. That's just the floppy comics that we've done since we started this. So that's very exciting. And of course, when we finish this Kickstarter and get these shipped and fulfilled, it's going to be 19. So that's very exciting. So don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. We want to try to get those numbers up. If you're listening to us on Twitch, do the same thing. And if you're listening to us on Facebook, please don't forget to like and follow, which is what you got to do there, right? I see Screw Loose is already leaving comments for me here. So sponsors, let's see here. Kickstarter update. If you backed the Divinity 2 Steam Patriots 1 Kickstarter, you should all have your physical rewards. I meant to send out the digital rewards yesterday. I apologize for not doing that. I was telling the gang before we went live here, I spent yesterday wrapped up in promoting the current Kickstarter. Which let me go to and give you a brief update on that. Our current Kickstarter is the Silverline Team-Up, which has these guys here. And number one and Bear number one. We currently stand at 59 backers, $2,123, which means we are more than there.
Oh, that's great.
It's fantastic.
In less than a week, already halfway. Yep.
Yes. So I need to go and no, I can see here. So there's still original art left. Let's see here. There are no more Peter Clinton color commissions. Those are gone.
Oh man, we had a thing.
So-
That ain't fair. That's not
So
right.
how many?
He's
Pete,
beating
how
me.
many black and white commissions did we offer again? I've forgotten. I
6.
had 6. Okay, so there's 4 of those still left. Then, so 2 of the black and white commissions are taken. Both of the color commissions are taken. 2 of the Flormonte Kid Hero commissions are taken. And I think
Yes!
Tommy's going to be working on some of that tonight, right? I mean, not the commissions, but something in that style. Yes, maybe?
I don't know if I can even get my internet to work. We'll see.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll just count on you to do that next time once you get it fixed. And then it looks like there's still several original pages left. Looks like page 17 inks has been taken. So page 22, 22 inks is there. 8, 18, 19, 20, 21 pencils are all available still. Guys, you need original art. You know you do, right? This is a fantastic opportunity to get original art that looks good. You can stick it in a frame, put it on your wall, and you got bragging rights, right? It's tough to get original art these days. Also available are pages, in ink. Those are the pencils. And inks is, page 22, cover A, which is cover A. Oh, that's the Pete and Roberta's cover, right? And let's see here, the 2-page spread, the double-page spread, that beautiful double-page spread with Champion and Pistol and Nim, all surrounded by fire. And then also the Kickstarter cover, which is not done yet because we anticipate to get the pencils from Dean tonight. We anticipate, fingers crossed. And then page 16. So there's still lots of original art that you can get. If you guys are on the fence, let me remind you that we have run 11 Kickstarters and we have fulfilled 11 of them on time. I think that's important information for you to know these days, particularly when there's a whole host of Kickstarters that have not been fulfilled. Including some of the ones that I've backed. I've backed and I'm still waiting on Kickstarters from 2 years ago, which is very, very frustrating. That's not the case with us. You're gonna get the books are we say September. Usually it's really, really early in the month. I would love to tell you August, but that would just cut it way too close because we might be able to do August, but that's just cutting it too close to my comfort zone. So we're going to say September, but generally you're going to get it before about middle of the month, September. As can be noted, what did I say? Today is the 18th, and right, yeah, and everyone should have for the last one should have their physical copies. So, yeah. So plenty of room to spare. I think that's it for the updates. Like to subscribe, follow, all that kind of stuff. So let's introduce who's going to be here with us tonight. Sorry. One more I got to say. Shout out to New Armor Media and Carlos. I got to get used to adding them, Carlos. So please don't be offended. Carlos is our producer behind the scenes. He's punching all the buttons, turning all the knobs, getting all the images up there for you. When you see Roberta coloring and Tommy penciling and Curtis doing his art and Pete penciling, that's all you see. That all thanks to technology and Carlos and New Armor Media. Also, New Armor Media. If you're interested in doing your own podcast, your own stream, you need to reach out to Carlos at New Armor Media because he can get all the behind the scenes stuff done for you. Where all you got to do is do your thing. You just talk. Do whatever comes natural to you, and Carlos will take care of all the stuff behind the scenes for you. So reach out to New Armor Media. Okay, so I am Roland. I am the chief cook and bottle washer of this outfit, and I'm wearing my sweet Silverline shirt today. So I'm also the guy who wrote Bear #1 and Silverline Team-Up #1. We'll probably talk about that a little bit before we get into our topic tonight. And I am excited to get those into your hands. So that's who I am. Tommy, tell the people who you are.
My name is Thomas Flormonte Jr. I've been doing comics since the early 90s. It feels like forever, but I've been doing them for a while. I've worked for pretty much everybody at one point or another. A lot of Ultraverse stuff over at Malibu with Roland, and also have done some of the earlier Silverline stuff, the earlier Cat and Mouse, and the Demon Tales miniseries, and just a variety of a bunch of stuff. Currently for Silverline, I'm working on the Trumps book, and as Roland was saying, that I'm doing the team up book that we're going to talk about a little more tonight. I'm sure it'll sneak in there. I don't know if you're going to show any of the pictures or anything, but that's Mr. Pete's drawn that, or has drawn the first issue. I've finished inking it. Roberta has finished coloring it, and you guys need to jump over on Kickstarter and buy it. And also, I'm co-owner of the printing company, Kablam Digital Printing, and you can find all my Kid Hero stuff at infernostudios.com. I'll shut up now.
No, shut up. Yeah, Kid Heroes too, guys. We were talking earlier. That's the commissions that Tommy's doing. So you can get your favorite character done in. You can get your favorite character, Marvel or DC. Although, why would you want Marvel or DC? Or you can get your character, the character that you want, right? The character you created. Or you can get one of ours. Or you can get Tommy to do something else. So you can get
whatever you guys want.
Yeah, that's why they're called commissions. The same for Pete. Pete will draw whatever you. It's a commission, right? So they'll do what you ask them to do. So get over there. There's still commissions left. Pete, tell people who you are.
I'm just a penciler. That's it.
So says the hat.
Just your turn.
I just draw comics. I don't know. Hi, I'm Pete. I'm the penciler on Silverline Team-Up, Champion and Miss Fury, and Trump's issue 4. Eventually, when I finish that, I've drawn a few things now. Miss Meow. I'm drawing stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about apparently. And that's it. Just draw. I just draw.
You also have your own thing on Webtoons, right?
Oh well, yeah. I haven't done anything with that in a long time. I don't have time.
But it's there for people to see, right? People can still
check out on Grey Seas or Room 23 Comics on Instagram. I've got a thing going on there that I need to get back to at some point. I'll try and finish that as well. Basically, I'm very busy, and I'm very busy penciling and inking things, and that's my life. Yeah,
and you love it, right?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Fantastic. Okay, next up, Curtis. Tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Curtis Fujita. I'm the creative director at Silverline. I also am a martial arts instructor, and I'm working on my martial arts comic book. So it's called Shadow Ghost. It's the Kung Fu comic by a Kung Fu master. So that's me.
Sweet. Yeah, and one of the things, because Tommy mentioned Malibu and the Ultraverse earlier, one of the things that Curtis is probably like, please don't say that again. Please don't say that again. Curtis got his start in the industry at the wee young age of 15 when he started as an intern for Malibu. He was making copies, mailing pages, and loving every minute of it. Curtis was I think the only person at Malibu that came with a smile every single day. The building is burning down, and Curtis is smiling. Okay, cool. What do you want me to do next, right?
Exactly. Good times.
And last but not least is Roberta Conroy. Roby, whoops, she disappeared.
Whoop.
She hit the wrong button.
She said she didn't want to hang out with us anymore. She took off.
She's like, I came to Malibu with a smile. What you talking about? We'll give her a minute to jump back in. Carlos says Thomas is the Thomas that messages me on Kablam orders. Nice. Yes. Robbie, you hit the wrong button.
I tried to hit share screen.
The timing was awesome, though. It was awesome.
You hit the one that says leave room? Is that what happened?
No, I just activated the window, and it hit for some reason it it turned to leave room instead.
Well, that was pretty funny.
So that was fun. Okay,
the timing was perfect. So,
yeah,
so
great
Roby, tell everybody
introduction.
who you are.
It's like, all right, Roberta, your turn. Bye.
I'm not not the streamer here. I am just a colorist. Well, hi, I'm a graphic designer during the day, and I live in Los Angeles, and I am a former Malibu colorist, Malibu and Marvel from the 90s. And I've been coloring on the Silverline Team-Up Champion and Miss Fury, and we just finished it up. So that is exciting. And I'm now on to Cat and Mouse.
Ooh. And I was looking through stuff, I guess yesterday to put some images up, and I stumbled across the color pages for Cat and Mouse. I was looking at them, going, man, these look good. We got to. If you're listening, dude, I'm gonna have to come up there.
Killing it.
Yes, but I haven't seen anything from him lately. I got to come up there and get him back on track, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get you going, man. Yeah, Stephen Brown says awesome cover. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so all right. Anything else, guys? Before I get shove us over to our topic.
Just one thing, if I can.
Yeah.
So we also, we're happy everybody. We want to thank everybody who has supported the Kickstarter so far. We really appreciate all your support, and we're really excited to make it happen for you folks. So thank you so much, and please make sure to share and let more people know about it. So thank you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. Who's going to share art first, Roberta?
And if you want to do it, I could just I could throw something up here that I just opened. If you want to see the early stages of coloring, that's always a good spot to start.
Yeah.
And
Carlos says, can't wait for Cat and Mouse. Been following since the 80s. Yeah, I'm old. Look forward to Champion Team-Up too. So Carlos, you're one of the few that probably remember Champion getting his start in Cat and Mouse. I want to say issue 3 was where he first showed up, and it was just a page where he was on the news pulling people out of a fire. And then of course he ended up having his own storyline as he got introduced. Now for those of you who are listening going, oh, well, I didn't read it. You don't have to read it to understand the story. It's just, you don't have to be familiar with Cat and Mouse at all to read and understand this story. Obviously, if you are familiar with them, there's going to be things that you're going to go, oh, okay, cool, right? But you don't need to have read that to understand and follow this story. So yeah. Champion has been a guy I've been dying to do more of, as well as Miss Fury. And the intent wasn't initially to do the two of them together. In fact, my initial proposal with a Miss Fury character was with a protector. This goes back to this goes back to the Malibu days, and I had pretty much convinced Tom Mason that we were going to do a Miss Fury and one of the protectors. That didn't happen just because things began to change. So the story sat there, but I've been wanting to use Miss Fury. She's public domain, so I've been wanting to use Miss Fury for a long time because I like the character. And so when the Champion kind of came up this time around, I'm like, this would be an opportunity to introduce Miss Fury into the world. And so I did. Yeah. And so I think Champion and Miss Fury is it's going to be a nice little duo. And they sure are looking great. As you guys can see, if you've scrolled through the Kickstarter at all. So, I don't know what else you guys got anything else to say about the Kickstarter?
I just gotta say, you guys are killing it. I mean, this is one of my favorite ones that's coming up, and cool. It's awesome, and it's cool because Roland's writing both of them, but they're two very different books, very different styles. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys are killing it, and I was a big fan of Cat and Mouse way before I met Roland. really far back, and I'm like super excited about Champion because, like Roland was saying, he was kind of in the background and he started coming to the forefront, and then he showed up in Demon's Tales, and so it's cool that he's out there, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome, guys. And I have to give myself credit. I was, for the first time, the first backer of this.
Yes.
First person.
Thank you, Curtis.
I've been wanting to have that badge for quite some time, so I'm gonna lay claim to it.
Refreshing the screen, refresh.
Yeah, exactly. It was me and Quentin. We were like neck and neck, and I beat him. So there, take that.
Quentin was mad at you.
What's funny is, it's often John Medic. Excuse me, John Medic is often the backer number one, and so yeah, it was kind of funny to see Curtis pop up, and then to see the two of you and Quentin going at it. Right, I'm like, that's kind of funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I have a page up.
All right. And
Look
at
our surprise.
That's right. Woohoo.
Looking good. Looking
That
good.
if you're watching our streams, that gives you an insight. It's kind of cool.
Yes, it does. So, so yeah. So, and, someone said something to me about, a larger Silverline world, and, I didn't start off writing to say I'm going to create a world. I was just writing stories, but as a comic book fan, I wanted my stories to be kind of connected, right? I wanted, hey, if I'm going to write this character, I want them, especially if they're going to be superheroes and stuff like that. I want them to be able to go over here and play with these guys, right? And so it just kind of grew from there. And I think that down the road, you're going to see, as Silverline grows and gets more titles, I think you're going to see a more expanded Silverline world growing. So that's exciting, I think.
Definitely.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else about the Kickstarter? Lots of original art, guys. Get over there and get some original art. Okay. If you guys don't have anything else, we're going to move on to the topic of hand. Let's see. Stephen Brown says, trying to think of a name of my superhero character nowadays, making the superhero name is tough. Always feels like all the good names are taken, but doesn't stop me from trying. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that, so one of the things that people don't always realize is you can't really copyright a name. Obviously, if you want to avoid something like Spider-Man, because Marvel will come after you. But
Disney will sure come after you.
Yes. But you can trademark it for your title and the look, but you can't really copyright that. So you could, and if you wanted to fight that legal battle, you could come up with a character called Spider-Man, right? And he can appear in your comic. But now the minute you put that on your cover, that's when Marvel's going to come after you and say, hey, we have a Spider-Man, you're confusing people, and we own the trademark, so go away. And, I mean, if you've got money, you can fight them, but that's probably really not a fight that you're, going to win, but and they've got much deeper pockets than just about anybody. So I would,
I can kind of speak on it a little bit, being that through Kablam and Indie Planet, there's, we've got, we print hundreds and hundreds of books a week and stuff, and different, you wouldn't believe how many titles are the same titles on all these books. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, everybody's using the same name. They're all cool names, and and until and they're all different books. It's not like it's the same book, but there's all kind of names. I mean, I don't want to say there's a couple Divinity books already. Been
oh, really?
printed.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of them, not just one. There's several of them already. Yeah. So
it's funny because one of the Rejects characters, excuse me, which for me has been around for a couple of years. One of the Rejects characters is named Divinity, and so when Barb came around and did her, her book, I got kind of back into Reach X when C. Michael came along. And so I reached out to Barb. I'm like, Barb, I got a divinity in this story, but she is nothing like your divinity at all. And she's like, yeah, I don't care. You know, it's just a name. But divinity is not the title of the book. It's Rejects, right? And so divinity is just a character. So yeah, that is the thing about names, is that there are a bunch of them. And the 90s also saw a lot of publishers just publishing right and left. A lot of them just to lay claim to names. There were
it's like websites, you know, you just try to get your domain as quick as possible, so that way you can claim claim it.
Yeah. So you just gotta, you just gotta do what you can, and the thesaurus is your friend for names, not for writing, but for friends. For friends? What the heck?
Yeah,
what?
I got
Where did that word come from?
Your friends are words, Roland.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that came out of my mouth. Okay, let's get to the topic then. Let's talk about conventions, guys. We are close to getting back to conventions. Obviously, we're down here in Florida, so we've been seeing some a little bit more. But I know the rest of the world is getting back to there. The stream that I was on this morning, these guys were talking about conventions and getting ready to kick back in. And so as we gear up to return to conventions, what are some of the things you guys are looking forward to?
Well, I've already done one fairly big one already. So I did Pensacon, and that's not monster convention, but it's a big convention. And it was just really because it was right when the CDC said, "Hey, everybody, get out there and do whatever you want," basically, at least in Florida. And it was great. It was really great being back out and being amongst people and all that kind of stuff. And we're everybody that I went down there with, my wife, Barry and Jenny, all the kids that, and all that kind of stuff. We're all vaccinated. So we were fairly kind of certain that we were okay. But, you were still worried about stuff. But, man, doing shows again is really fun. And then, we got one coming up here in a couple of weeks. My puppy's barking at me here. But, the conventions, I can't wait. I can't, conventions, let's go now.
Yeah, for me, it's that initial time. That initial time that you're about to walk in and you don't know exactly what you're going to expect when you're just at that opening of the doorway. That kind of nervous, excited feeling, like that's comic conventions to me. So I'm looking forward to that, having that moment again.
Yeah.
If I can add a quick anecdote about that with Roland, I think it's okay. I say this one on the air, Roland.
Maybe it depends on.
There's euphemisms, but there's no swear word.
It depends on what story you're going to do.
Comic-Con?
Yeah,
you know which one I'm going to say.
I do. Yeah,
you know which one I'm going to say. Come on,
I don't know.
We're all guilty.
Go ahead.
We can say it. Come on.
Oh my goodness, people are going to find out. What are you doing telling that guy? He's 15.
Made for TV moment. All right, let's do it.
Okay, go ahead.
I was very mature for my age.
Yes, you were.
So the first San Diego comic, the first San Diego Comic-Con I ever went to was, I think, 92 or 93. I went with Roland, and it was Roland, myself, Hank Canals, who was one of the other editors at Malibu, and we drove down from Los Angeles to San Diego Con, and we got to go in early because we were exhibitors, because we were with Malibu. And I remember being out front of the doors, and Roland was just going on about how great Comic-Con was, and I'd never been to it, and just Roland grabs the door, and he looks at me, and all he says is, he goes, "Curtis, get ready to pop your boner," and open the door.
Oh my God.
Girls.
That's quite a term.
I didn't know this was that kind of show. I never would have picked you guys if I knew this is what y'all were going to talk about.
And that's my story. That's it. That's my truth.
Crazy,
Yeah.
You know what? I did that one time with the Marvel guys.
Did you?
And I've vowed I would never do it again. It was scary. I went with Lubank and Fabian Nicieza and a couple of the other guys, and I'm like, no. So Carlos says, I'm attending Rose City Comic Con in September. Going to visit a Silverline writer at the show. I miss con so badly. Carlos, you've got to be talking about Tim TK if you're talking about a writer. So Tim TK will probably be there. And I think Aaron Humphreys. I think Aaron is going. I'm not sure. And Aaron is the artist for Fry Rush and and the new thing he's working on is the Obsolete. So I think both of those guys are in that area. And to my knowledge, and I'm not for sure, I think both of those will be both of them will be attending Rose City Comic Con. So when you do, Carlos, do us a favor, man. Get a picture with them so that we can post that on the social media. Get a picture with the guys that you meet, because for you guys, if you don't know, Carlos is a regular backer of ours. I hope it's okay if I say Carlos. Yeah. So get a picture, man. Aaron Humphreys. Yeah, that's what he said. So I think Tim TK might also be going to that show. Tim, of course, is he was producing on Wednesday nights, but he's moved over and doing. He's host of the Tuesday night, which it runs a lot later for us because Tim is over in the Pacific time. So he had to get here pretty early. Well, and so is Roberta, of course, but they had to get here pretty early. And so we started that other blog so we can kind of serve the West Coast a little more. So yeah, get pictures, man. Also, we got to get you saying "Make Mine Silverline" now that the conventions are going on. Okay, so let's see, Pete and Roberta, you guys hadn't heard from you yet.
Well,
I haven't been to a convention in a long time. So.
Yeah. We've got I've got two coming up now. I've got two. I've got one in September, which is a new convention here in the UK. So I'm giving that a try. I'm just desperate to get back to conventions.
So where is it, Pete?
That is the Meanwhile Festival in Coventry.
Oh, you won't. What a great name! That's cool.
Yeah. So that's it seems to have attracted some big names here in the UK. So I thought, we haven't. I think people are desperate to get to conventions. So
yeah,
no, I am. So I was like, well, I'll go. I'll give it a try. And if it's smaller, sometimes that's better actually.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've done some of my favourite conventions I've done have been really tiny. It's just been comic book focused. So fingers crossed.
I love those.
Yeah, and then Thought Bubble in November, which is massive. Which is a big convention, and that attracts people all over the world. So that'll be good to do. It's the first time I'm doing that one, and because we're opening out quarantine out lockdown tomorrow, they're really the first conventions we're going to have here for a couple of years. So yeah, I think people are desperate to go. I think people are going to be cautious, but
yeah,
just people just want to be back in that environment.
Yeah, you got to be safe. That's
of people who love the same thing, because comic books can be very not isolating, but you're very you're on your own, aren't you? Really, the only time you interact is when you're at the comic store or you're at a convention. Internet helps, but nothing quite like being surrounded by people. And sometimes that means you're surrounded by stinky people.
Yes, it does.
That's always there.
and people who just want to talk and absorb your time and not spend any money.
Yeah.
But, that's all part of the life.
Yeah.
I love conventions. We don't, we don't get as many as you guys. You guys seem to have one every weekend somewhere in that country.
Yeah. Well, and Florida too seems to have, under normal conditions, Florida seems to have conventions, every couple of weeks.
I don't know how people do it, because it must just be. You spend your money at one, you have no money for the next one, but they seem to be running every weekend anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the.
Rich, you must be rich.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the stereotype about Americans, right? We're all rich.
No, that's definitely not.
I think some of it has to do with the population. Florida's what is it, third or fourth most populated state in the U.S. I know there's California. I think it's California, Texas, and is it Florida? You guys help
Probably.
I
me
think so. Or New
I think
York. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so it's up there. So there's a lot of people. So there's room for there's room for I just noticed Demon has ears in there. He doesn't have
Demon
ears.
has ears. They're little,
Yeah,
but they're ears.
have ears. I just noticed that.
It doesn't he have ears?
No, he does not.
Tommy,
have ears.
does he have ears?
I didn't draw ears.
Yeah, he does not have ears. No.
Well, let's just decide.
Yeah, no. It's he doesn't have ears.
Okay, then he will not have ears.
There's no deciding.
That was made like 30 years ago. That he doesn't have.
Yeah, what I mean is we can change it.
Yeah, you can just
fix it up.
Just fix that to fur.
You don't want it to be
know.
Whatever that ridge is.
Yeah, he's just got a bony ridge. It's more like a membrane there. That Anyway, sorry.
No, thank you for saying, because this is the perfect time to say something.
Yes, yeah. But so we've got a big population down here, so I think that's one of the reasons that Florida can get away with so many conventions, is that there's just so many people that you could have one every other weekend, and
well, it goes to show how much people like conventions, doesn't it? When you can almost oversaturate, you have to have it all the time, people still turn up.
Yeah. Well, and two, one of the things that you kind of have to look at for us down here is that MegaCon, which is the big one here, is the one that everyone talks about. I have kind of ceased to like it. Now, if they invited me, I'm going, don't get me wrong. But I've ceased to like it as a fan because it's all about the media.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And that way, don't they?
And I don't have anything against all the zombies on Walking Dead, but I don't want to go to see I don't go to a convention to see the third zombie from the left on season 3, episode 2. That's just not why I go. I mean, seeing Bruce, what's his name, the B movie guy, sci-fi Bruce what? Come on, somebody
Bruce
help me
Campbell.
out. Bruce Campbell. Seeing Bruce Campbell would be cool, but I'm not going to go to a convention to see Bruce Campbell. You know what I mean? I want to go to a convention so I can see John Romita, so I can see the only names I'm thinking of right now, they're all gone from here. So I can see comic book people, and so I think that's something that you get at these big conventions, is that people are going to see the media stars and they're not going to see comic book people. And that's why, you even mentioned the smaller ones. I think that's why I like the smaller ones, because the ones who go to those, they're going for comic books. So
and it's nice for the artists as well. I find it nice. The one I went to one in the US when I was at school, and it was out in. It was right out on the border of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. It was even an hour from where we were in New Jersey. But it was at a high school, and the part of their curriculum was they were doing comic books. So every year they ran one day, they invited, and they had, Lee Weeks was there.
Oh, cool.
Walt Simonson and Louis Simonson, they were there.
Oh, nice.
And we got to hang out with them after the show, and we went for dinner. I wouldn't get to do that at a big convention.
Yeah, no.
So, I mean, Lee was at the school anyway, so I knew Lee. But Walt and Louis Simonson, I wouldn't have met them, and you got introduced to them, and that would never.
Did you not love them?
Because it was a tiny little show, and there's just a one day, fill the sports hall at the school, and it was great. And the green room was amazing. We got treated like superstars.
Yeah. Did you not love Walter and Louise Simonson?
Yeah, they're wonderful.
They're some of the coolest people in comics.
Pros, they just get together and they just, as you know, Roland, they just share stories back and forth.
Yep.
It's cool. That's really cool.
That's Alex Saviuk is down here, and Alex is still out there, going to shows and stuff like that, and because he's local, we get to see him a lot, and we get to hang out with him. We get to go out to dinner with him, and that's sometimes for me when I'm thinking about a show, I'm like, okay, this show is going to be fun, but we're going to get to listen to Alex tell stories afterwards, right?
So for us, because we're just usually we just sat home working. We don't interact with people.
Yeah.
We don't go to an office and sit around the water cooler talking. We just work, and then the only time we get to see people and talk about what we're doing and interact with people is at conventions. So
Yeah.
that's what we love about it.
Yeah. Carlos says, I agree. I want people going to scour. I want people going to scour the artist alley, not the media tent floor. Yeah. I agree. And again, I don't have anything personally. I don't have anything against the TV people or the media people. But that's not why I do a comic convention, right? Now, if you're doing a pop culture convention, then okay, well, comics is just part of it. But if you're calling your show Comic Con, then why are all the top billed guest media people? I guess
they get a green room and they get treated like royalty, whereas the comic book people is like, well,
right,
just don't leave your table, okay?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We need you to stay here the whole time. Yeah.
Did you hear about that? There was that time with Larry Hama a couple years ago, where Larry Hama was at a convention and got completely neglected by the staff, and he couldn't even get a cup of coffee. But they had a green room for all the quote unquote celebrities. But at a comic convention, that guy's a legend. It's just that's a shame.
Sometimes I wonder it's because they've got agents, right? They've got these agents, they've got these big movie studios saying, well, we're going to attend. This is what we expect. This is our ride, and this is what we have to be treated. Whereas comic book artists and writers, they don't have an agent. They don't have anyone fighting their corner. It's just, I'll come to the show. Can I have a free table? Yeah, I can have a free table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was at a convention in Ventura County, out near where we are, and there was a few years back, everybody was trying to jump on the San Diego Comic Con bandwagon, and they really didn't know a lot about comic books, but they were using it as their platform to get celebrities and stuff. And I was next to the Honky Tonk Man wrestler, and across the way was Howard Chaykin. They had a table for Howard Chaykin, who, come on, absolutely legendary person. And the table just had a name tag on it. It was a blank card table. There was not even a tablecloth. And I remember seeing him come in, look at it. Dave Olbrich, the former publisher of Malibu, came over and talked to them. And I could just overhear that Howard Chaykin was just like, there's nobody here. There's nothing going on. There's nobody there to greet him, nobody there to help him out. It was just this blank table. And he left. he just left the table alone. He sat down there for 5 minutes and then was like, you could just tell, he was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know him personally, but he's known for not being one to mince words. And he just stepped off and left that table within a couple minutes.
I told you about my experience with Howard Chaykin, right?
No.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah. So, Howard used to come into the Malibu offices. Super, he was super nice guy. He did a lot of instructions and that kind of stuff. He greeted me. So here's the thing. I used to think he didn't like me until I realized he's just a New Yorker and this is just the way, right? He literally, when he sees me, he will smile and say, F you, Roland. And I'm like, and my Southern sensibilities, I'm like, what did I do? And so it had been several years since I had seen him, and I saw him just a few years ago at a convention. And my daughter was with me, and I said, now he's got a potty mouth, so just be ready for that, right? And we're walking and towards, and he recognizes me and he just smiles, and the first words out of his mouth were F you, Roland. And I'm like, dude, I haven't seen you in like 15 years and this is the first thing you're gonna say, and my daughter is right here. And I'm like, but I realized that this is just his way of greeting me. It's his way of saying, hey, Roland, what's up? Right?
That's funny.
Yeah, so we had it was a convention not very many people attended. So we did have a chance to kind of, hang with him a little bit. It was very enjoyable, but yeah, it took me a while to realize that's just his way of saying hello to me.
Absolutely. Oh, that's priceless.
I'm going to start using that. Can I? Would that be okay?
No, please don't.
Okay.
I think you're bad at it. I've known
That's
you so long.
awesome.
I'm like, dude, what'd I do to you? You're talking about green rooms, Pete. So I did a show called Comic Conway. Now I'm not sure it didn't happen last year, and I'm not sure it's going to happen this year. So I am hoping that it is not a casualty of the plague, but it may very well be.
Yeah.
But they treated us like royalty. It was a comic show. The year that I went, it was me, Jeff Whiting, Howard Mackey. Oh shoot, I forget the artist's name. He was a super quiet guy until we went out to eat, and then he drank a lot and wasn't so quiet anymore. What was his name?
Maybe you shouldn't say his name on air.
No, I probably shouldn't. Now that I've said all that, right? He was doing Marvel. He was a Marvel artist, but I can't remember what his name was. And let's see, there was somebody else. I can't remember. There's about two other people, and they picked us up at the hotel room, lobby. It was a 2-day show. They picked us up at the hotel the morning of, took us to the convention, brought us food sent someone to our table at lunchtime and said, I'll watch your table, go to the green room. And so I went to the green room, and there was everybody, and they had workers behind all the creators' tables watching their table, right? Someone at every table, while all the guests went back there and had lunch. And it was just, sandwiches and stuff like that. But, we were all back there and had lunch. And then that night they picked us up and they took us all out to eat.
That's cool.
At a super, super nice restaurant, dropped us off at the hotel room. The very next day, same thing. They picked us up at the hotel. They chauffeured us around. They took super, super good care of us. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of nice. They treated us really well. Comic Conway. I think Alex Saviuk had been there before. I know Steven. Steven hadn't been there. Paul Pelletier went one year. These guys, they're just comic fans, and they treated us really well. Probably one of the best in recent years. One of the best places I've ever been treated like that.
Yeah, we get treated really well at Pensacon. The invited guests get besides all the media people and all that kind of stuff, but the comic book people that they invite to the show and stuff, they treat us really well. They drive us around, and there's a green room for us and all that kind of good stuff. So, yeah, Pensacon's a good show.
Yeah, that's nice. And the thing about it, I have found is that it's the little things like that make you feel like, okay, well, you do appreciate the fact that I'm here, and I'm not just a name you threw up on your bulletin. Carlos added, Walt and Wheezy provided me and my ex-wife with one of the best con memories ever. They spent an hour chatting with us like we were long-lost friends. Also, my favorite con moments are the after-show dinners with the pros and publishers, because those are fun. Yeah, I agree. And that was, I remember that before the first time I ever went to San Diego, that was one of the things that Malibu, Tom Mason told me. He said, now, you're going for the show. He said, but don't plan anything at night, because you want to spend all your time that you can meeting editors and publishers. And I remember my first year out there, I met Jimmy Palmiotti. And anybody that knows Jimmy Palmiotti knows that he's one of the nicest guys around. Jimmy was friends with Ken Branch, who I mentioned earlier, who had done some Silverline stuff. Ken was doing work for Jimmy. I know Tommy did some work for Jimmy too.
Lots of work.
Yeah. But I met Jimmy. We hit it off great. And literally, like within a couple of hours later, he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Come on, let's go to the Marvel party." And Jimmy, having only just met me, grabbed my arm and basically started dragging me out, and we went to the Marvel party. And I'm like, holy crap, and he introduced me to, some of the people there before he got kind of pulled off. And that's how I got to know, a handful of the Marvel folks early on. All thanks to Jimmy, grabbing a guy he just met and taking him to the party.
That was my comic site.
What's that?
If you took your words out of context, it could sound like something very different's been going on.
Please don't do that, then.
He's loyal.
I think it's kind of like and earlier Pete hit upon it. You get to see your tribe. I mean, it is a solitary thing. We all are doing our stuff. It's not appreciated widespread, and so there's a lot of doubt sometimes when you're passionate about something and nobody around you or that you go to school with or whatever. And so when you find your tribe, it's like, oh, that's why I love San Diego Comic-Con. When you go to San Diego Comic-Con, it's like this alternate universe where the comic book nerds took over, and it's normalized, and it always cracks me up going to the bars and the restaurants there and seeing all these people who are total normies who don't like comic books with this upset look on their face wearing a Batman DC shirt, and they're trying to fit in. It's like the jocks are trying to fit in with the nerds, and it's the funniest thing, and I just love it. It's like this bizarro universe, and it's absolutely awesome, and you get to connect with people, right? Like I almost said I was 15. We were there with Phil Crane, who was one of the other people in editing at Malibu at the time, and I met Klaus Janson, and I didn't even know it. And so he came over to me and he was talking. He came over to us and we were talking, and he was very confident. He was saying something about Malibu's books, and I didn't know who he was. And I kind of made like a half snide comment, like, "Oh yeah, well yeah, you can do whatever you want." And he's like, "Oh thanks," and he walked away. And Phil goes, "That was Klaus Janson." Oh my God, that's Klaus Janson. I couldn't believe it. Oh yeah, or we would go to Chicago Comic-Con.
Yeah, and
God bless everybody at Malibu. You guys would take me, a minor, across state lines to Chicago. I don't know how that happened.
I think we had you fill out a permission slip from your parents.
Mom signed something to say it was okay for you to go.
So, and I was just about to graduate, and I had this suit that I got for my graduation, and the suit was. I love martial arts movies, so if you know Jet Li in this movie called Fist of Legend, he has like this really cool suit. I found the suit. And so I had the suit and I wore it whenever we went to an event. And Bill Sinkovich saw us at some party, and Bill Sinkovich came up to me and was like, "Hey, nice suit." I was like, "Oh my God, Bill Sinkovich likes my suit," And so, and we went to Michael Jordan's restaurant. He had a restaurant at the time, and we went there and we couldn't get in. The line was out the door because this was Jordan at his peak. And maybe we were there 15 minutes. And then somebody came up and said, "You guys are in." And we got to walk by everybody. And all of us were confused. How did we jump the line at Michael Jordan's restaurant past everybody? And as we're walking by, he said, "Well, how'd that happen?" And the maitre d' goes, "Oh, the manager likes your suit." And the manager gave me a certain wave that
cool.
He was interested in, I think, more than my suit. But hey, we got
Okay, Pete, now you can go there.
You had to go. He took you to the back for a few minutes, underage, and then he sent you back out, and you were good to go. I got it.
For the team, you do what you do.
For the team.
You did. It's just that one time you needed the car ride. You did what you had to do just to get on. Got you.
Yelling right. Let's see. Stephen Brown said, go ahead.
No. I was going to say the one really kind of thing that's going to be good for all of us right now during at least for the next year or two, I think, is that everybody is wanting to get out. Regardless if it's safe or not. Let's hope that everybody's safe. And we're on the back end of this the plague that's going through. But let's just assume that everything's cool. Everybody's trying to get out. So the two shows that I did, that one big show, and then I did the show with you in the mall. Lots of people are out. Lots of people are wanting to spend some money. Lots of people are wanting to come see you.
Yeah.
Just as long as you feel safe and you're taking care of yourself and making sure that you're staying safe, I think we're going to do really well. With Roland and the other shows throughout the year, I predicted, being that we're down here in Orlando with all of Disney and stuff, I would keep telling all of our friends and stuff, it's like, as soon as Disney opens, Disney and comic book shows are the same kind of thing. People just want to go. And look, Disney's open, and you can't fit another sardine in the can that's so packed. There's so many people trying to go to these shows, to Disney, to Universal, to comic book shows, to the, I guess not the movies. Apparently, nobody wants to go to the movie theaters for whatever reason. But,
We saw Black Widow on
but
Tuesday.
was it busy?
It was because BJ and I have been going to movies, since last June. As long as the theaters were open, we're going. And there have been times that it was just the two of us in a theater. So it was not a packed theater at all. But along with us, I would say there was probably about another 20 people, which is more than any that we've been in, in over a year. So
My business partner Barry and Jennifer Gregory, they have kids, of course, and they were trying to arrange for them the kids. Their oldest Fox, he's just turned 16. He's 16, believe it or
oh
not.
my gosh,
And, yeah, I know. And he and all of his buddies were trying to go see at Disney Springs, or it's not Disney Springs anymore, whatever they call it.
Yeah, right.
Whatever it's called now. Yeah, but they're trying to get in to go see the Black Widow movie, and it was sold out except for
Yeah.
like at 12 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was plenty of folks who went to the movie. But get back to the other thing. The shows are super. People want to get out and spend some money. They want to go see some stuff. So we need to get out there as much as we can.
Right.
Be safe,
Be
but
safe.
want to get out there if you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I have
Keep it
always,
clean.
I have always carried like this with me, right? This is some hand sanitizer that BJ gets for me. I've always carried this with me, even pre-plague, right? And some of it's because you guys, you know me, I do a lot of talking, right? I shake a lot of hands, and I'm not concerned about that. But I come back to
It's a lot of babies.
I haven't kissed many babies yet. But I come back to the table and I have this and I apply this generously. I use this generously, and so we're knock on wood. I've been fortunate to never come home with the con crud, and I think some of that is just because I use this. I try to be aware, that kind of thing. But also, you can't see it from here. I got a big tub of, I think, Purell, a big bottle of Purell that I've been.
You had some on the table at that mall show. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it.
I'll bring that with me. And so I guess that's one of my questions. How do you think that conventions will change? What do you expect to change? What do you hope will change? What do you hope doesn't change?
I think you're going to find there's going to be a reduced capacity for a while.
Okay.
I think your big conventions are going to limit. I mean, last time I went to New York Comic Con, you couldn't move. You can't move in. And they're filling out a big space, and it's just packed, shoulder to shoulder, and you queue for everything everywhere. And I just don't think that's a good idea at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think they are going to be reduced numbers. I think they'll put their prices up because of it.
Yeah, I think so. Well, and you think that? Sorry, I just read a comment here. Do you think that the increased prices are going to help keep people away?
I think ultimately it can. That's all it can do, isn't it? People are going to be priced out, and they're going to be like, "Well, what's the point of going to the show? I don't have any money left."
Right.
Not everyone can spare, $200-300 for a ticket and still have money, to buy stuff. It's all very well good, getting all these celebrities down, but when you start having to pay for it, well, we're having to pay for it, but the ticket price just prices people out.
Yeah, I agree. So Stephen Brown said he met Jimmy Palmiotti and he reviewed his portfolio. He said he really told me he needed to be part of the comic industry, and he gave me homework to do that I'm still doing. And he said he liked his work, which is good. So if Jimmy gives you some good feedback and gives you homework to do, I strongly encourage you to do that. Yeah. R2D2 for life said Roland does not want to be infected by us little people. Teary face.
Can I tee off with that thing about Jimmy Palmiotti? I was just talking to an animation producer recently, and director, and he's probably okay if I say talk in detail about him. But basically, he in recent years he produced some Black Lightning animation shows and stuff like that for DC,
Oh,
and
cool.
very very prominent guy. And he was telling me how he got started in the industry. He actually grew up in Compton, right, which isn't the easiest place to grow up here in California, and he met an animation director somehow and showed him his portfolio, and the animation director told him, said, hey, you know what, you need to work on your figure drawing, right? And as an artist, how many times have you heard that until you actually do something? So he didn't have the means. He went to City College where they had a figure drawing class and just snuck in and just started doing figure drawing like he belonged there and upped his portfolio. And then he turned around and he spent like a year and a half or 2 years doing that. He went back about a year and a half or 2 years afterwards and met with that director and showed him his stuff. And the director said, okay, why don't you be a character designer on our new Mortal Kombat animated series?
Wow.
So he went and he basically went and had to quit his day job at like a Walmart or something like that, at like a drugstore, and made about 5 times more in profit, and started working with one of our friends, Keith Conroy, at this company. Yeah. And now he produces things. And years later, he told me he talked to this guy who became his mentor, and he said, why did you pick me? Why did you kind of give me this ability to do better for myself? And he goes, do you know how many people I say that to? I have friends of children of friends who want to be in animation, people who want to be in animation. They ask me and I tell them, go do figure drawing. He goes, nobody ever came back to me with a portfolio. You're the one person who actually followed up and came back with a portfolio. He goes, and that's why I kind of put you onto this game. So yeah, I mean, people remember, and they remember people who are as driven and motivated as they are. So absolutely, if somebody's willing to give you that advice and you follow up, you're going to stand out amongst the crowd, because everybody likes talking. Very few people like doing. There's a very big difference between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a little bit before here. About when we're at conventions and artists will come up and show you something, and you meet them the next year, and they show you the exact same thing,
the exact same portfolio. Yeah.
And you're like, I've already seen all these pages. There's been 365 days since you showed me these. Don't you have anything new to show? And I remember seeing that several times at San Diego, and thinking, well, I don't want to work with you because you're really super slow. you can't get anything done in 365 days. How do you expect to do 22 pages in a month? So yeah, I think that
you thought you didn't need to improve, and you didn't do anything. Yeah,
you're just waiting for somebody to hire you based on what you did. Yeah. It's interesting. So I got to get back here to R2D2 for Life's comment. No, it's not that I don't want to be infected by the little people. And maybe
that's what you told me.
Maybe I should be offended you're calling me big, right?
Oh,
I think that's no. It's just that I hate being sick. Now I've kind of got the constitution of a horse anyway, and I absolutely hate being sick. So that's why my wife sends these with me so that I can just kind of keep my hand, because I don't ever want to. The other thing is I don't ever want to be that guy. And I know, and if you're one of these people, I'm not condemning you. You do you, right? But I don't ever want to be that guy who doesn't want to shake hands for fear of getting sick, right? To me, there's just something personable about shaking a hand. Whether that's saying, hey, thank you for buying my book, or nice to meet you, or whatever. There's just something about shaking a hand, and I don't ever want to be the guy who is like, I went to meeting and he wouldn't shake my hand, for whatever reason. So I carry this around to protect me. Hey, you never know. I might have sneezed in my hand. I might be protecting you, right? Because I won't sneeze on my shirt. I just think that that's nasty, and I'll leave a big sneeze mark there. Did I choose my words wisely, Curtis? A sneeze mark. How do you like that? A sneeze mark?
It's just funny.
That's a good
so I'm protecting you, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm protecting you, because I'm still going to shake your hand, and I'm protecting you so that you know that my hands have been sanitized from the last person who sneezed into his. right? And
Yeah, at the shows a lot. Renee's, my wife, is always usually sitting next to me, and you do that shake your hand thing. And Renee is always getting on to me. She's like, "You need to wait for them to turn around before you grab the stuff and clean your hands up."
yeah, no,
It's like, "Nice to meet you." Squirt, squirt, squirt.
Do you withdraw?
And in your mouth, and spraying it under your arms, and they're like, "Do I smell?" And it's like, "I'm sorry, I thought you left. I wasn't paying attention."
you know,
Yeah, she's always getting on to me. Yeah.
did you see that
Wait
Mad
till they
TV
walk away.
skit? You remember that
Which
Mad
one is
TV
it?
skit where they had the hand sanitizer, right? And that they did that very
Drinking it. And
they
stuff.
did that very same thing, right? The guy was talking, and they got some hand sanitizer, and as he kept talking, they just kept getting more and more hand sanitizer. I think it was Mad TV. It might have been Saturday Night Live, but it was a funny skit.
I
It was
mostly use
the bye people.
yeah. I mostly use the spray kind instead of just the gel. You know, so you can hear it. You know, they hadn't walked away far enough, and it's like it's lights all over you and stuff.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
you can't hear it. This one's just got one of these little tops, right? It's just a
That's right.
little lotion thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe the solution is when they reach to give the handshake, you spray their hand and then you shake it.
They reach in,
Oh, no.
and then you. That is a fantastic idea. Yeah, I like that, Curtis. That is great.
That's why I'm
Oh,
the
man.
creative director.
You are the man.
Breaking necks,
I like
cashing
that.
checks. That's my game.
I like that.
Breaking necks, cashing checks.
I'm writing that down.
Is that on your business card? Because I like that.
Right? It should be, right?
Yeah.
It's like, thanks for
That's funny.
I was at a job in insurance once, and I got that nameplate that you put on your desk, and I always liked the idea if Danger was my middle name. So on a whim, when they asked me to put my name down, I put the word Curtis Danger Fujita. And the head of HR came up to me, and she literally goes, "Is this your middle name?" And I said, "Yes, it's French. It's Danger." And,
Oh my god.
and she brought it back. They thought I was serious, and I came back and I had this nameplate that said Curtis Danger Fujita, and
And you're like, oh no, now I got to go buy another one.
Danger.
Danger, enchanté.
Danger.
Good news.
When did you work in insurance?
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean, I had
This
seven.
came out of nowhere for me. He's like, what?
I had 7 jobs at the same time when I was building my martial arts school. So 7 jobs. I had 7 part-time
Damn.
jobs so that I could have the schedule so I could teach martial arts at night. And the funniest day was one time I went to one job, and I was working at a gym in the morning. I was a receptionist at a gym. This guy checked in, saw me as a receptionist. Then he saw me teaching a Tai Chi class at the gym. And then that afternoon I was teaching art at a kid's art school, and he picked up his son there. And he literally goes, "Do you have a twin brother? Because I keep seeing you all around."
Wow.
Did you ever go to the wrong place with the wrong outfit on and you showed up with your...
I did. I was teaching at an art school, and they had 3 locations, and I went to the wrong one. And I was supposed to be at the other location. My boss was there. And
That's
she goes,
funny.
"Aren't you supposed to be at the Oak Park location?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I just thought I'd stop by and say hi on the way." So yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Some serious good time management skills.
Yeah, really.
This is
7
rough.
jobs. That's tough. But yeah, I think that is a great example, Curtis, of
Hustle.
working. What's that?
Hustling. Doing
Hustling,
what
yeah,
you need
hustling.
to do. Yeah.
But you hustling to do what you want to do. You were doing these things that were not necessarily the top of your list to do because you wanted to do the martial arts school, and so you were doing these things in order to make it happen. And I think, I talk to this is one of the things I tell my students a lot. But when it comes to comics, is like, if you really want to work in comics, you're going to draw comics. You're going to draw them, but you're also going to do or write or whatever, right? But you're also going to do whatever it takes. And Tommy can remember this when I was first breaking in. I mean, I had graduated with had a degree from college. I was working a 45 hour job, 45-hour a week job at Bookland as an assistant manager. And, excuse me, I went into my job. I worked there, and then I went home and I worked another 25 to 30 hours a week on comics, trying to make that happen.
You and Steven. Steven worked there also, remember?
Yep,
Didn't he?
Steve. Yep, he did. Yep, he was working at Wendy's, and we had a position open for him. I said, "Dude, you should come to."
Oh, I didn't know
Bookland.
that.
Yeah. I said you should come to Bookland because the hours are going to be a little more consistent, right? Because he was working split shifts and stuff like that at Wendy's, and so he came over and was another assistant.
I got to talk to him about that. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it was Wendy's. Don't hold me to that specifically, but I'm pretty sure it was a Wendy's, because I think he was at Wendy's for a little bit. David Rogers, our other, there was 4 of us in the house. David Rogers worked at Pizza Hut, and we ate a lot of pizza that year.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember. I think Ashley was in graduate school, so yeah. Crap, I can't remember where I was going with that.
No, just talking about the hustle. I mean,
yeah. No, and I say that's a great, for me, you are a great example of that. Is that you do what you have to do in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Well, and I'm a firm believer that nobody's above a day job. I mean, nobody's above a day job. You can have your artistic goals and your creative goals and all that, but that doesn't negate you from personal responsibility. And to be like a productive member of society, and the list goes on and on for the people that, I have this persona as a martial arts instructor, but I still have a day job, and the person at the grocery store could care less that I know martial arts. I mean, I would love it if I walked into the grocery store and everybody bowed to me, but that's not the way the world is,
Oh, Evil Curtis, would you like bread today?
Yeah. But, when I was working all those jobs, I got so tired, and I was renting a subleasing spaces at multiple schools. So I got confused. You always have to bow when you walked in. I walked into the grocery store once, and I was so tired. I bowed when I walked in the grocery store. You're supposed to bow when you walk in. I was so tired.
And of course, they all looked at you, and he's probably from Japan. He probably doesn't speak English, right?
Exactly. But I mean, I don't know anybody who got into this or stays into this or anything creative who doesn't have that drive, and who didn't. I don't think it fell in anybody's lap. I mean, if they did, good for them. But I don't know anybody that has.
It's surprising. And Pete, you probably saw a lot of this at. I don't know about a lot of it. You probably saw some of this at Cubert. Is that there's a big difference between. And I'm gonna not just because we're running a Kickstarter, but I'm gonna build you up here a little bit, Pete. One of the things I have seen in our relationship is that you got the hustle. You draw pages. You got a life. You got someone who likes shoes. So you have these other responsibilities. You've got a job. You got these things you have to do, and yet you still make it happen with your artwork because it's what you want to do.
Yeah, I think. I'm a little older than, I'm in my 30s, so I've been through that where I've had a career doing something else, which I hated.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I just want to draw comic books, so I'm going to go and draw comic books. Now, I've made a conscious decision, this is what I'm going to do. I think when I was 18, 19, it all seemed like, oh, yeah, sure, I want to draw comic books, of course I am.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about anything else. I'll just, I'll get picked up eventually, and because the world at that age for me seemed like, well, yeah, of course, it always works out. I'm very lucky in where I've been born and my family. I always tend to get what I want.
Right.
The real world doesn't work like that.
No.
It's taken a lot longer to realise. Actually, I've got to put some work in to get places. So yeah, when I went to school, I was a little older than the average student, and the older students like myself had all done the same thing. They'd made a conscious decision, this is what I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
And they hustle and they bust their guts to do it, because what you go back to is what you hate. You have to go back
right.
just doing something else, and you're like, I don't want to do that, I've done it.
Right.
whereas younger kids haven't done that, so they don't know that.
No.
They don't know that actually out there is pretty miserable if you just have to commute into work office every day.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and you know, it's and you know, I guess you probably saw it in the classroom, but you know, one of the things I see is when I see someone, particularly young ones, who's like, yeah, I really want to draw comic books, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's work on this project, right? And then 6 months later, you're like, you've drawn 3 pages in 6 months,
yeah.
like you can't really do a comic book. If you draw 3 pages in 6 months, that's going to be 12 pages in a year. That means you can do 24 pages. That means it's going to take you 2 years to do a single comic book issue. And I'm talking about a floppy, not a graphic novel, right? So,
it better look good.
We all know making comics is hard.
It is hard.
It's hard. You have to work hard. You have to put in. I used to do the tours at the school. And so prospective students would come and their parents and they'd look around and show them around. And I would say every time, look, this isn't easy, okay? So how many hours do you do? How many hours? Right, okay, so I'm at school I get up at 6 a.m. and I come to school early and I'll stay until as late as I can, and then I'll go home and then I'll work until 10. So I'm working 16-hour days. They're like, oh, that's a lot. So, yeah, it takes that long to draw 1 page sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you're not prepared to work that long, don't bother doing it.
Right.
Because it's just not going to work out for you.
Yeah.
If you can't sit and draw for 12 hours, okay, you can have a break, you can get up. If you want to go play computer games or go to the shops or wherever you want to go, do other stuff, this isn't the business for you.
Right.
You're not going to get paid very much. You do it because you love doing it.
Right.
And we wish we did get paid more. Of course, we all do. Every pro wants to get paid more.
Absolutely.
You just got to, if you're not prepared or you can't sit there for a long time, it's not going to work out.
No.
And sometimes the dropout rate at the school was quite high because I think students come in and they don't realise how hard they've got to work. And I think because if you're younger, it's more difficult because you didn't have the foundation I had already. I'd spent 10 years trying to do it myself. They've come in and they've got to learn to do this stuff off the bat and then put that into a page and turn that page around in a week. And, which is hard. And harder it is, the more people tend to procrastinate and leave it and put it off and put it off. Yeah. And then when you've got 20 other assignments all due at the same time,
yeah,
you can't. It is hard. It's hard work. And people should be in no doubt that making comics is hard.
Yeah, it is.
The hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
But I love doing it. So
and that's the thing, though, and I think that's what it goes back to. Is it's hard, but you got to love it. And I think you mentioned that you bring the perspective of hey, you've done this other thing, and you don't want to go back to doing that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I tell my students is like I've dug ditches before. Literally, I have dug ditches for money, and I don't want to do that. I got paid more to dig a ditch, right? But I don't want to do that. I would rather get paid less and do this because I enjoy doing this. I would rather spend my time doing this and get paid less.
Yeah.
I don't want to dig ditches. That's really hard.
I think the confusion is, especially when you're younger, is that it's like, oh, you like it, oh, you love it, so you're surprised that it's hard.
Right.
It's like you thought it was going to be easy because you like it. It's going to take you to the point where you question if you love it anymore. And if you're not willing to go to that point where you question if you love it, then you're not going to be successful at anything. That's really what it boils down to, I don't know if you folks are familiar with Machiavelli, the writer, and he always had this one saying, which I just absolutely adore, which he talks about archery. And he says, when the target's far away, you can't aim directly at the target or the arrow will come up short. You have to aim above and beyond the target. So when it falls naturally, it will fall and hit the target. And he basically says that's the same thing with success. If you want to be a penciler, then you better aim to be Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
And then you might hit the target. You have to go way above it. And like Pete was saying, that there comes a point where, people realize it and they go, I don't want it as much as I thought I wanted. And that's when they,
I don't want to work
you know,
this hard. Yeah.
yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
I want it to be easy. I just want it to be easy, and I just want to or what I have found sometimes with some artists is I just want to draw pinups. You know, I can't tell you the number of emails that I get from people that have no resume, right? No resume really at all, and they say, "Hey, I'm a cover artist and I'm looking for work," and I'm like,
Cover artist.
"Yeah," and I'm like, "Okay, well," so and I you know, of course, I click and I go look, and I'm like, "We haven't done anything." Right?
So, no, and then you go, no, you're not. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're a pinup artist who wants to be a cover artist, and that's because you don't want to do the work of a comic book. And
That's the hard.
you know,
hard bit.
I even when I was an editor, you know, I always had this thing where I wanted the. You know, we're in an age of variance, so it is what it is. But you know, I always wanted my interior artist, if at all possible, to be the same ones to do the cover artist. So when I get all these artists sending me, you know, these emails, you know, hey, you know, I can't do a comic book, but I can do covers. I'm like, why would I put your cover, your art on the cover when you don't have a resume? Now, if Walter Simonson says, "Hey, I want to do a cover for you," then yes, that's different, right? Because
Yeah.
Walter Simonson is Walter Simonson. But when you send me and you haven't done anything, it's like, why am I going to have you do the cover instead of Pete, Tommy, and Roberta? You know why? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
I had some friends reach out to me like, "Oh, you're doing stuff for Silverline now." Like, "Oh, I have an idea for a comic
Yeah,
book,"
yeah.
right? And everybody has an idea, and it was like, "Well, great, go ahead and make it, and then I'll see if I can talk to to Roland or whatever." Like you mean I'd have to make it? Like, well, nothing's stopping you. There is no budget for the comic
Right,
book. Like
yeah.
you have a friend who's an artist, you're a writer.
Make it
Go
happen.
ahead and write
Make it.
Yeah.
make it happen, and then we'll talk.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
so if they're not going to pay me? No, nobody's stopping you. Nobody's
Right.
stopping you at all. Please
Right.
help yourself.
Yeah.
And
So
you know somebody that can print it for you.
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So before the time got away from me, it's 9:30. Somebody else want to take over and stream some artwork for a little bit?
Thank you.
Sorry, Roberta.
Mhm.
I just
That's okay.
the time just flies by. I need to set a timer.
Curtis, can you do it? I'm scared if I start doing it, it's going to shut my whole system off. So, can you have
Oh.
something that you can share?
I don't have anything right this minute. I didn't prep anything for the show.
Let me see if I can't get this.
Yeah,
If it drops,
Neither
if it drops
neither
me,
did I. I didn't have anything prepped, but it didn't stop me.
Okay.
Well, I'm working.
Okay.
I'm working on a remix.
So while you guys are figuring this out, so
I'll just
keep
keep
for
I'll
life.
just keep a coloring.
Okay, keep coloring.
If I disappear, I will come back. Let's see what happens here.
So R2D R2D24 Live said, "How are all those long boxes in the background organized? They are, or are they?" Yes, they are organized. This whole rack back there, from ceiling to floor, are my Marvel comics. There's nothing. I will say this: there's nothing that I can think of right off the top of my head that has a cover date of later than 2005, though. So, so that's all Marvel comics. Over here, right? All of these are DC Comics, and those three boxes there are DC Comics. These are independents. Those are independent. No, I'm sorry, I moved those. These are independents, and those three boxes are Silverline Library books. I keep 2 copies of everything Silverline does, kind of an archives, right? Kind of an archive thing, and so that's kind of like a Silverline archive. These comics over here, right? All of those in that bottom row, and then just behind the poster, and that are all independent comics. And the top 2 rows, then the top boxes are all Silverline. The box just behind Tempest there is Silverline, and then those boxes over there are odds and ends that I've picked up, generally of my work that I've picked up at the conventions. So, for instance, one of those boxes has about 30 copies of Miss Fury 1, 3, and 4.
Nice.
I have no issue number 2s, and so when I pick up issue number 2s, I'll take it and I'll combine it with that, and I'll have a set that I usually try to. I haven't been able to offer one in a while because they're all gone. But these are incomplete sets of Miss Fury, and I've got some incomplete sets of Cat and Mouse, which I'm down to like 2 incomplete sets that I think need like 4 or 5 issues, and then I'm done with that because I'm working on the omnibus. And then if you want to get the individual Cat and Mouses, you're gonna have to figure it out yourself. I will just have the omnibus. So they are organized, and of course within the boxes themselves, they're alphabetical by title. Except for my independents. My independents aren't very well alphabetized because I get so many of them now, and I just kind of, you can see, and I know the comic fanatics are going to hate this, but you can see after I've read them. Oh, hold on, I got a new cord, so I should be able to do this now. After I've read them, I put them right here on their spine, right? So I take them and I literally just, you see it, Berserker was one of the ones I got. And Martin Piero's Decisions, right? After I have read them, I literally put them just like this on their spine until I have the chance to go back in and add them into my boxes. So don't yell at me. So there you go. R2D for life then added, you guys have convinced me not to follow my dream of making comics. Yeah, it really just all boils down to, I think, of how big a dream is it? Is it just something that you would kind of like? I would like to be a professional baseball player, but I'm not going to get out there and work on it, every day because it's hard. It's hard. It's harder than I want to devote time to. So anyway.
Can I add? I think that's really what the crux of it is it doesn't feel like work if you like it enough. The work is satisfying,
I love that, Roby. It doesn't feel like work if you love it, and that's something that BJ and I talk about, because she's always telling me, you need more sleep, you need more sleep, you need more sleep, and I get it, but it's one of those things. It's like I know it's work, but I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it, and so it's not difficult for me to let the time get away from me and go, holy crap, it's 2:30 in the morning. I have to be in class in the morning. I got to go to bed. Right. But that's because I enjoy the work. Yeah. R2D2 for Life says, I am just a collector. You guys do the hard work. R2D2 for Life, we appreciate you very much. Appreciate, we do it because we love it, but it also is really nice that there are folks like you out there who can look at it and say, I really like this. And that's one of those that kind of makes it makes you feel good. It's like, okay, cool. This was, the hard work was worth it, So thank you for that. Also, thank you for being a R2D2 for you guys on the stream here. R2D2 for Life is also a frequent contributor to our Kickstarter. So yeah, I really think that you're going to like these books that we're kickstarting now. So Tommy left the room. I guess his connection broke out, build on us. He's having did he tell that live about his internet? I don't think he did.
No, it was before.
It was before. Yeah. So long story short, Tommy lost his internet. So he is hotspotting from his phone. And so they're having, I think he's supposed to get it back tomorrow, but, so that's kind of why he's having problems. Roby, you good to keep coloring?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay. All right, Carlos, you could just keep Roby on the screen there, for coloring. So what do you guys think? So we talked about some of the things about conventions. So do you anticipate, what's the word? I guess we've talked about things that we kind of like to see. Are the things that you anticipate? Are the troubles? Do you anticipate any troubles? Do you? Pete's already said he thinks that the attendance, they're gonna moderate the attendance and not let as many people come in. I don't think they're doing that down here in Florida. I think the doors are wide open. for Florida. But I get that there's still states that still aren't open yet. I think Curtis and Roberta, y'all are in a state that's still.
No, they're
Yeah.
unhappy. We're contemplating closing it right back up
Oh my goodness!
because of the Delta variant.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
that's a problem. It's exploded the past couple days.
really?
Hmm.
So,
That's scary.
Yeah, yeah. I think the game's changed. I mean, that's for sure, right? I mean, now that we've had virtual cons, right? It's like that's changed things too, and I think it's going to go even further back into the comic book versus the popular culture movie kind of thing. You know, I don't see with the economy the way it is. I don't see studios flying movie stars out to a convention in person and putting them up in a hotel when everybody's watching their purse strings. So I kind of feel like, in a way, it's an opportunity for comic book conventions to be more comic book oriented. And in fact, I was just talking with another creator yesterday, and he has a comic book project, and we were talking about things, and he was saying, well, you know, I would love for us to have a panel together, you know, because he's in the martial arts, he does comic books, so do I. And he said, I hope one day we can meet up and do a convention in person and do a panel about martial arts and comics. And I said, well, why wait? I said, you know, I said, have you looked at the San Diego Comic Convention panels? It's literally just a Zoom meeting, no frills. I said, we don't need to wait for San Diego Comic Con. We can have our own convention. We can have our own panels with or without people. He said, oh, that's a good thought, you know? So
Has that already happened, Curtis? San Diego Comic Con?
next week.
next week. Yeah.
It's probably too late to get panels in, isn't it?
You never know.
No
I mean,
idea. Check
you
it.
could try.
So here's if you guys hear that thing again, if you hear, there's no reason for us not to do a virtual convention together.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. You know, we did virtual Comic Conway last year. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
I
remember
had
that.
a blast doing that.
was
That
fun.
was so much fun. There's no reason for us not to do that. So if you guys hear of that again, reach out to me, or reach out to the convention, and say, hey, you know, what about some Silverline panels? I need to make a note here.
Well, and if I can put on the creative director hat, I mean, why don't we ever host our own convention? I mean, why wait to be invited? Let's have a Silverline convention, and you know, we have different panels with our own creators, you know, and maybe even have people from outside of Silverline. I mean,
that would be fun.
I mean, we don't have to
That'd be-
wait for
That'd
anybody.
be some
You know,
work. Creative directors. That's something you're
I love that
willing to
idea.
put together.
I'm working on a T-shirt right now as we speak. So let me work on that first, because I heard that somebody needed a new T-shirt, and I think somebody was hinting that maybe I should do something on it. So let me work on that. The creative director dictates.
The minions make it happen.
So I got a message from Tommy, and he said that AT&T sent him a message saying that he had used too much bandwidth already.
No.
So
No, they haven't given him enough.
yeah. So he offers his apologies. He says hopefully tomorrow they'll have it fixed and everything. And for those of you who are on here for Tommy, he'll be back next week with us, and at his full blazing speed. Oh, I see you just left a message on Facebook here. R2D thank you. Of course, R2D2. We appreciate you very much, and you know, we want to keep, you know, we love doing this stuff, and we want to keep making comics that you like. You know, we I know you're a collector, and I know sometimes collectors buy just to buy. I get that. I mean, you see all these boxes, right? But you know, there's nothing better as a creator to hear someone say, you know, hey, I bought this book. I can't wait for the next one. And that's those are exciting words to hear. So yeah. So we appreciate you. Tommy left a message on Facebook, said, sorry, AT&T cut me off. So yeah, I am also excited about conventions. I think that we're still going to see. I don't think that because of Florida, I don't think we're going to see as much pushback as as maybe we did earlier. There are still going to folks be. I think there are still going to be people who are wearing masks. There are going to be people who aren't wearing masks. I think there's still going to be an abundance of hand sanitizer at the shows, which I think is a good thing. I think it's a thing that probably ought to have anyway, because how many times have you guys heard the stories of con crud?
Oh yeah, which one?
Oh
Yeah. And I've heard lots of people talk about they picked up con crud at the convention, and again, knock on wood, I'm very fortunate to never have caught con crud, because well, like I said, I like to wash my hands, and you know but
Oh.
what's that?
I was going to say, there were a lot of people who just weren't thinking about being safe on any level, and
Right.
it's caught them off guard. I'm sure they're learning new habits, and now things are a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we'll see. I think we'll see more hand sanitizer at shows, and not just from kind of people behind the booths. I think we'll see more of those little portable. They have those little stand-up things with the little. You walk by and you stick your hand under it. I think we'll see more of those. I think we'll see more people being aware of things like that. I think we're going to see more fist bumps and elbow bumps, than we have in the past, than handshakes. BJ and I did a small business conference on Friday, and that was one of the things that we noticed, is that there were a lot of fist bumping instead of handshaking. People would go ahead and they'd just go ahead and stick their fist out to you, and instead of an open hand, it was a fist. And I'm like, if we weren't living in the middle of the plague, I might be offended at that. But that's just that they're like, hey, we're not gonna shake hands. We're going to swap germs on the outsides of our knuckles. So yeah. Okay. So convention. So Pete, you said you've got 2 coming up, right?
Yeah, one in September, one in November at the moment.
Okay, September and November.
I want to get over to America and do some in America, but
Yeah.
I've applied, but I don't think I'll get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a tough one. But yeah,
it is. So do me a favor, Pete. Do they if the convention makes or if you make a little image with you and the convention, send it to me, and we'll get it in our rotation of promotional stuff. And that goes for any of you Silverline folks, right? If you're going to go to a show, we've got the Daytona Beach ones, obviously. But if you guys are doing other shows, get me those images so that we can add them into our Silverline promotion, because we want to promote that that you're going to be there. So yeah. Fruitbat36 says you can shake my hand anytime. I appreciate that. I will count on that, because I will meet you at some point in time. I am hoping to get up to, I keep thinking Valdosta, Georgia might have a show, but which is kind of in South Georgia for all of you who are
Never heard of them. So.
Georgia geographically challenged. I'd kind of like to get up in that area. I've tried to get to Tallahassee a few times, but I can't get. And I hear it's a good show, but I can't get the guy to respond to me. Isn't it funny, when you hear when someone says, "Oh, this is a really good show. This is a really nice person," and you drop them a line and you don't ever hear from them. You're like, well, okay. I believe what people say, that you're a really nice person, but I'm not sure why you're not answering me. What's going on? So there's a convention that Tommy goes to that he says these are really great people, and I have emailed them a handful of times and they just don't answer me. So I'm like, well, I don't know if my email goes to their spam box, or they just say, oh no, that's Roland, we don't want him. I was disappointed to learn that Pikeville Comic Con, which I've done a couple of years, is a 1-day only show, and I don't think they didn't really. I think they're just kind of throwing up a tent to say, hey, we're still here, and we're going to wait and get back to normal next year. So hopefully we'll we'll see some Silverline folks at Pikeville again in 2022. So. One of the things BJ and I were talking about, we would like to try to expand our reach a little bit as far as conventions go, and so not sure this will include you, Pete. So you can whoosh for a minute. I'm going to start looking to see where all you guys live, and I'm going to start inviting myself to sleep on your floor, and maybe come do conventions in your areas if we can if we can find reasonable plane tickets and a space to set up. I don't mind sleeping on an air mattress on the floor, and so we're going to look to try to do that and expand. I got to get the thing about Florida is it's a long panhandle, and I live so far down the it's about the middle of the state. But deadgum, I'm so far away from anything. I got to drive almost 4 hours to get out of the deadgum state.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's if I drive 4 hours north. I will be in Georgia. So I can actually spend nearly 8 hours in the state if I'm going to my father-in-law's who lives in Mississippi. I go up to the top of the state and then west, and then I'm still in Florida because it's got that shape of a gun. So I literally go all the way, and I'm in Florida forever. Fruit Bat says demons lost weight.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
He's lost some weight there. We'll have to come up with some.
Do you need some bulk?
Yeah, yeah. Boy, it just makes me want to show some other stuff too that I'm going to bite my tongue on. Yeah, you've seen it, Roberta. Naples. What about Naples, Fruit Bat? Naples is the other way around. Naples is south of me. Fruit Bat, I was thinking that you were in Georgia. If you're who I think you are. Anyway, wait, Fruit Bat, I was expecting a message from you. You said something about web design. Anyway, you live in Canada. Okay, no. No, I don't live in Naples. I live in the Orlando area. Naples is about an hour and a half, maybe probably further than that. Naples is south of Tampa, and it took us 2 hours to get to Tampa. So anyway, so Curtis, Roberta, you guys got any other conventions lined up?
I haven't looked into it because I was looking into hoping that the Los Angeles convention would show, but I think they moved it all the way to the end of the year.
That's the thing that we're having out here, and maybe you guys talk about this in your area too, is that a lot of our spring shows moved to the fall. And now our fall shows are getting ticked off because some of them move like the week before the fall show, right? And they're like, wait, you're normally in February or March.
They're stepping on each other.
Yeah. And so, and the fall shows are like, hey, I've always been here. I've never jumped into your space. And now you're going to be the week before me. You're going to take all this money and no one's, so there's been some, okay, we've been emailing. Okay, cool. I know who you are now. So yeah, there's been some hard feelings, for some of these conventions here because of that, because they're stepping on each other's toes and getting in their, basically getting up in their business.
Yeah.
Well, so
it's like San Diego Comic-Con is going to be in Thanksgiving week, so that's their next convention, like in person, is going to be, which I thought, I don't know if they're doing it. Yeah, if they're doing it purposely because they know less people will show up, and so by doing it during a big holiday, it automatically will mitigate the amount of people coming, or not. I'm not too sure.
They said they just wanted it to be special.
So is this going to be held in the same location?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's going to be at the
convention center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I was just talking to a friend. It's like I don't think San Diego Comic-Con will ever be that amazing bloated beast of pop culture that it was pre-COVID, because the trend was already the trend was already going down, right? I mean, as far as like the studios bringing things out for the entertainment pop
Okay.
culture aspect. It was already kind of starting to wane just a little bit, and I think now they kind of have all the reason they need not to. So I mean, I think it'll go back more towards comic books. I think that's kind of where
That'd be
it's
great.
probably going to be heading.
Yeah, I hope
Which I
you're
have no
right.
problem.
I
Yeah,
hope you're right.
yeah.
Well, all right, guys. I after looking at the message here, I'm looking at our clock, and it is time for us to wrap up. Before I let everybody say where you are, let me remind everybody once again. First, a shout out to our sponsor, Daytona Beach Comic Con. Thank you, Daytona Beach. Thank you, Tom, and Daytona Beach Comic Con for sponsoring us. We appreciate you and are looking very much forward to being at Daytona in 2 months. So you guys make all your plans. I think if you notice the rotation, I think I counted up the other day, and I think there's going to be 11 Silverline creators are going to be there. So, most of us obviously are fairly local, but there are going to be 11 total Silverline creators that are going to be there. So it's a perfect time to pick up one of the signature books. And get your autographs started in the book. So you can grab a signature book and get 11 signatures. Now you're going to have to either travel to London, or we're going to have to get Pete to get over here, which we are going to try to do to get his signature. But that should not. Don't let that stop you from getting started. So thank you, Daytona Beach Comic Con. Guys, don't forget our Kickstarter here. Let me refresh and see where we're at here. Let's see what we have. We are at 59. I think this is probably where we were when we started too. We were 59 backers, $2,123. You guys get over there, back this project. If you can't, if you're like, Roland, I don't have the money. I just can't do it. I totally get it. Share it though. Share it with your family and your friends, and when you share it, tell them, hey, look, I know these folks. They're going to deliver. It's going to be good content. You need to go back it. Vouch for us, and tell them to go back. As we said early in the stream, I'm not going to run through the whole list again. There's still lots of original art left. You can still get commissions from Pete. You can get them from Tommy. We're going to add. I got to make sure I get all the details. We're going to add a super commission.
That's right.
And we'll make an announcement about that. But we're gonna add a super commission once I make sure I get all the details right, so I can get all the wording right. So you guys be looking for that. That's going to be fun. And we're also going to add Haley. Haley has agreed to do some commissions, so we're going to add some commission work from her. But there's still original pencils from the project, pencil by Pete. There's still original inks from Tommy. So get over there. This is a great time to get them books, as well as get some original comic book art. And if you're like, I just haven't had the opportunity to back any Silverline, guess what? You also can get all of Silverline's backstock is available for you to get. So you can pick them up, and when you get your Kickstarter book shipped to you, all of these will be shipped to you as well. So you can end up with I told these guys earlier, I counted. Silverline's got 17 individual issues. This is more. I just made this realization. This is more than I ended up doing in 97, 98, 99, and 2000. Part of 2000. It's more than I did in 4 years with Silverline 2.0 in the late 90s. Already, we've done more than that.
That's
so
awesome.
yeah. It is, but also it's thanks to you guys. You guys have joined me in this venture, and we're all moving forward. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So Fruitbat asked about what Roberta's coloring. He said, "Is that the new Demon Mini or the next Cat and Mouse?" This is the next Cat and Mouse, and actually, Fruitbat, this is not issue number 4. This is actually the new issue number 1. This one is being the miniseries that follows the one that we're doing now is going to be penciled by Wubba Fett, and Barb is going to ink number 4 of the miniseries that's going on now. But Jeff Whiting is going to be inking the new miniseries. So you're looking at Jeff Whiting inks over Wubba right there. So this is part of the. I think this is what this is. Let me pull it out. Let me see the pages again. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so it is
you can
Wubba,
see.
right? Yeah.
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 I would hope so.
No, that's actually it is Wubba, but that's Barb. That's Barb
It's
inking.
Barb over
yeah.
Wubba.
So that is issue number 4. So you're looking at issue number 4 there. Sorry. Any chance for to get the digital versions of books off Indie Planet? No, those books. I have not made any digital books. A long story short that I won't go into right now. I'll go into it at another time when we're not out of time and talk about that some if you want to. Right now, the digital versions are only available via our Kickstarters when we're kickstarting. So you can't get them. You can only get the print copies from Indie Planet. Okay, so go back to the Kickstarter. Curtis, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Sure. Actually, if I could just say one thing about the Kickstarter.
Please do.
I know this is pretty cool. So, we always say that Silverline is a genre-spanning comic book publisher. And one of the reasons personally I'm so excited about this one is that it's 2 unique titles. I mean, they're both from the mind of Roland, but they're 2 different kind of books, 2 different styles, 2 different, kind of themes and everything. So it's a really good time to kind of invest in it and go ahead and pick them up, and even to share with people because maybe somebody's not as much into the superhero thing. They might be into bear. So it's a really, really cool opportunity, and we really appreciate everybody supporting us. So I just thought I'd bring that up because it's a very unique Kickstarter that we have going on.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I look at this one and I look at the last one we did. Right, we had Steam Patriots and we had Divinity. Two very different kinds of comics. Steam Patriots is an alternate, kind of an alternate history about the American Revolution, and Divinity is kind of a superhero story about a young girl, not spandex superhero, but she's got superpowers and she's on the run from the government. So again, 2 very different kinds of stories.
Absolutely. And now on to me. My favorite subject. No. So you can find me on Facebook, Curtis Fujita. There's 2 roads that I follow. So there's the martial arts, the comic books, they kind of converge. You can find my martial arts school, Tiger Crane 805 on Instagram and YouTube, and Tiger Crane Kung Fu on Facebook. And then for my comic book, it's Shadow Ghost Comic, and that's on Instagram and on Facebook, so you can find me there. And maybe in the coming weeks or in the coming month, a very exciting collaboration coming up. I won't go too far into it, but I'll say it's a little bit of multimedia, so make sure to follow because there's some cool stuff coming up.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, Curtis, also, if anyone listening is interested in learning martial arts, they don't have to live next door to you, right? You're offering these classes now online, right?
Yes, thanks, Roland. Yeah, so it's we do online classes. We have an online program, and I won't go too far into it, but we have live classes, we have recorded classes, and so you can be anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection and can learn. And a lot of the techniques that I teach will be showing up in the comic book, so there's going to be a lot of crossover. So you may not,
cool.
Yeah, so you may not be able to have adamantine claws per se, but I'll teach you how to make the tiger claw, and that's pretty cool too. So. Check us out, and my website's Tiger Crane Kung Fu for that. So that's it. Thanks, Roland.
And after you do that, you guys need to go because Curtis hates when I do this. Right? You need to go look up the song "Boot to the Head." I tell Curtis, I said that's my kind of martial arts there. Roby, where can folks find you online?
Hi, you can find me under Roby Conroy on Facebook and on Instagram, so you can check that out. ROBI Conroy. And that's mainly it. That's it.
Excellent. So go follow and send her a friend request and
of course her. Silverline. You can find me through there.
Hanging out on Silverline. Before we get to Pete, Tommy is not here, so I'll speak a little bit for Tommy. You can find Tommy on the Facebooks and Instagram, Twitter. He has a TikTok called Tommy Don't TikTok. No apostrophe in the don't. We got to get him to do more twerking in his TikToks. Let's see. Curtis is like, what? You can also find him at the Silverline page. Oh, and he's Tommy at Inferno Studios. You can find that's his website where he has his Lil Nay and Kid Hero and Zomboy stuff. So go check out Tommy. He had to bail because of the internet connection, but you still need to go look him up. Pete, what about you? Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
On the interweb, you will find me under Peter Clinton Art. And I've gone and got the Tick and Tock as well now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, have you really?
That's also Peter Clinton art, and I've put 2 things on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they art related, or are you twerking also?
No, they're comic book related.
Cool.
One is our Kickstarter, obviously. Although you can't have a link. Kickstarter link.
Yeah.
It's annoying. And one, I just wanted to see how it works, so I put some comics on there and made a little video. I don't like TikTok. I'm not going to lie. I don't get it. But
yeah, I don't get it either. But I think I told you before. My daughter's always sending me links.
It's for the kids. Yeah.
All right, so I'll tell our social media person, and we'll make sure we follow you there. So I'm sorry, I stepped on your line, Pete. What else?
Peter Clinton Art, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, the LinkedIn, it's all the same. And my website, obviously.
Yeah, I forgot I started a new one also on TikTok.
Oh,
I put myself up there.
Are you twerking?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I have it's R Conroy.
Yeah,
with dots in between. And I think Peter found me.
I've got 5 followers.
For the record, I've never heard Roland say twerking this many times, and hope to never hear Roland say it again.
Yeah.
Oh man, not ever, no.
If people want commissions, then they know where to go for them.
Yeah. So hold on, no, Pete. You're not doing commissions while the Kickstarter is going. Is that correct? You temporarily.
Oh, no, yeah. You've got to go to the Kickstarter. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You temporarily stopped them. You'll kick those back up once the Kickstarter's done, right?
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Pretty busy, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So if you want a Pete commission, you need to back the Kickstarter. Not only will you get a commission, but you'll get a comic book that he drew. Oh, also, if you know Pete, if you're listening to this and you know Pete has volunteered to be the what do you call your mail carrier over there?
Postman.
Postman. Okay. Pete's volunteered to be the postman. If you know him, and you live in England, because postage is so. What's that?
Well, I mean, you say live in England. I mean, if they're commutable for me, I will drive it to them. If they're not, I'll have to post it to them.
Okay. Well, if they're commutable, they can buy you lunch, right? You can make it up. They can buy you lunch, and you can give them a comic, and then you can give them an autograph for free for the lunch, right?
No, not for free.
So yeah, that's one of the things we're always struggling about in the Kickstarters is how can we serve the greater comic community, and postage is what really kills us all the time, and that's beyond our control. We don't have any. Pete doesn't have any control of that. We don't have any control of that. It's just really, really expensive to ship.
Mail system's out of control.
It really, really is, and so because Pete's going to be getting books. He just said, "Hey, look, if I know them and they're here and it's commutable, then he can deliver. So you can get a print copy of the book, and it will be shipped to Pete, who can then get it to you. So don't let that stop you from. Don't let the fact that you live in England stop you from getting a print copy, because Pete has volunteered to assist in that. Now, if you live way up in Scotland, you're probably gonna have to do the commute to Pete, right?
Yeah, pay for the postage.
Yeah. So remember that you can still get a print copy if you are, and Pete will probably make I'll probably type something out and let you okay it and put it with our update here, so that folks will know. Yeah. Okay. So got everybody, and I'm Roland. You can find me on the Facebooks, the Instagrams. Roland is not. I don't think I'm on TikTok. Silverline is on TikTok. Roland is not on TikTok.
What would Roland be doing if he was on TikTok? Just out of curiosity.
He would not be twerking. Yeah. So listen. You guys, we just gave you all this stuff. Go follow us, go like us, go subscribe to us. It helps us when we do these Kickstarters. The more followers we have, the more shares that we can get, the more eyeballs that we can get on these projects, the better. That's what it's all about. So we appreciate you. We appreciate all you do. And if no one has anything else to say, it's that time of night. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Make mine Silverline.
Make mine Silverline.
All right.
See you guys.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.